such an asshole.
I couldn't find a image. Google changed its like image searches, and now they say, hey, these are free. And you click on like, no, they're not. So we got that. All right. Dear Mr. Clary, I would like a video response. Please keep me anonymous. If you must use a name for me, you may call me Pablo. If we ever have a chance to meet in person, I'll tell you the tale of how a corrupt government hiring manager marked me down as Hispanic, even though I don't have a single drop of Latin blood through my veins to make his diversity quota for the year. I need some. I was just thinking, like, if I was president, I'd so like put it into that violently. You're like, yeah, we're not doing that no more. You like your hand, don't you? You also like cultural diversity. Let me show you what the Muslims do to people who lie or steal. What do they do? Did they send us to rehabilitation? No. Let me show you. Need some career advice, but not the kind you usually give. I watch many videos of which your clients requested counsel on how and what kind of career to start. Tell me what to do, Mr. Clary, but I'm looking for a second opinion regarding when to end mine. I know you likely think I'm being overly verbose here, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, because I charged you. And with paying extra, fast voice you reserve for people who can't get to a point. I'm a few years older than you, and I've been a government lackey my entire adult life, starting when I joined the U.S. military in my teens. Now is when you offer me my military discount. Neither the branch of government I currently work for nor the kind of work I do is germane to this discussion. So I'm going to leave that out. The information I give here is generally true, though I have obfuscated some details to protect my anonymity. I'm a specialized career field that allows me to retire with decent benefits at age 50. Do it. Provided I have a specific minimum number of years at the federal service. With my military time in to take into account, I more than meet the time and service requirement right now, so it's just a matter of waiting to meet the age requirement. I'll hit that in less than 2 years. Oh, damn, you old as fuck. And I'm torn between whether to walk out the door the day after I reach 50 or stick it out a while longer. My wife is in the same field as me, but because she started working for the government a few years after I did, I'll be 53 when she's eligible to retire. Originally, we planned to retire on the same date, but I've lately been considering just calling it quits when I hit my 5th decade of age. Admittedly, my work does entail some occasional danger and excitement, but it really isn't that difficult or terribly challenging. I get so much time off for things like career development, professional education, physical fitness activities, and etc. that I typically only work the equivalent of about 7 out of every 10 days. The job itself usually only demands about 3 to 4 hours of real work each day, leaving me with lots of time to gaze out the window, sip my coffee, read the news, and catch up on it. See, that is what would drive me nuts. All while earning those sweet, sweet taxpayer dollars, you bastard. I know this sounds like a nice gig, but I find it increasingly stultifying. It actually kind of sucks to get paid a high salary to not do much of anything at all. I'm starting to feel definite moral trepidations about working for you. Didn't make the no. Okay. Whichever route you choose, do not feel guilty at all. I'd rather look, they made the rules. All right. They made the rules. You vote Republican, I presume, or at least libertarian or something. Did you vote for the right thing? You did. All right. Did they? Okay. They want more. Okay, fine. Take the money. Look, I want some of our guys getting that fucking sweet, sweet taxpayer money too. Not just the fat, dopey single mom with the 20 deadbeat dads taking her kids to 7-Eleven thinking that's health food. And bitching about why our kids need more like what organic shit or whatever. I don't know what the complaints are. Please, go get the money. Buy a Mustang with it, please. Like all of government, is more determined to perpetuate its own existence than to actually serve the American people. Plus, the millennials and Gen Zers entering the workforce these days are mostly insufferable, whiny leftists. Every day that passes finds me less inclined to work any longer than I have to. And before you ask, no, the nature of my work does not allow me to work remotely from home. Hey, you should join the military. Let's add some numbers into the equation. If I retire right at 50, my monthly net retirement would be approximately $3,600. Is there 12? What can I do, math? 30, is that 50,000? If I wait till I'm 53 to walk out the door, that number goes up to $4,100 a month. Keep in mind, my wife intends to work till she hits the minimum requirements to retire, and until then, she will continue in that about $6,300 per month. Post-retirement income, well, they go down about $3,200 after taxes. We'll also have over $800,000 in your thrift savings accounts. When my wife retires, additionally, when I turn 60, my RV reserve pension will kick in, paying out a rate of $1,000. How injured are you? Are you disabled like all my marathon running buddies who are like 80% disabled and collect $3,000 a month because their finger doesn't bend all the way? But hey, they run a marathon. They're disabled. I don't know what Social Security would be like when my wife and I respectively are at 62, so I'm not even bothering to factor that into my. As you can see, we won't be rolling in cash, but we won't exactly be hurt from it. You'll be fine. We don't have a mortgage, kids, credit card debt, or school loans. After reading my own words above, I guess what this all comes down to: am I willing to work an extra 3 years just for an additional $500 per month of retirement income? I'm not quite convinced I should sell my time so cheaply. 50 is pretty young these days. I keep to a healthy diet and regular exercise, leaving me plenty of time to start a second career, pursue hobbies, or just do nothing at all as long as I can stand it. I could even, as you love to hear people say, follow my passion. I hate to keel over in the office from an undiagnosed congenital heart defect at 52. Well, why don't you go to the doc? It's one thing I would do. Get a good thorough checkup when I could happily croak the same age while hiking the Kumano Kodo in Japan. Look it up. I know that I've essentially answered my own question, but since this is such an important decision, I appreciate your take on the topic. Best regards, Pablo. All right. I'll say you straight. What you got to figure out is if you are even able to handle retirement. Because what I'm fearing is you're going to think the grass is greener on the other side. You're going to retire and you're going to be bored because your wife is stuck there for 3 years. What I would do, this depends. Like if you go another 3 years, you get 4,100. Can you go a year and a half and you get what, 4,000 or 3,900? Because if you retire and you find out you can't handle it and you need your wife, and a business idea doesn't come up, or wherever you guys are employed, you have to be there physically, then you got to wait 3 years. That's a long time to wait. Year and a half, not so bad. So I'd stick around a little bit. And before you leave, you better be your part-time with all that extra time you got, to luxuriate, sip your coffee, read the paper, the fine times you're having 4 hours a day on my dime. I remember I got the great paper cut in 1992. Oh, thank God I'm disabled. I got $300 a month for this. Is 25% disabled because of this paper cut. While you have those 4 hours, your mandatory job is to find something else to do should you retire. Because you just can't walk in today, oh, yeah, that's it, guys, goodbye, and then crickets are chirping. You need a plan B and a plan C and something else to do. So while you're there at the office, at least for the next 6 months, why don't you start researching something that you want to do? It could be education. It could be, do a lot of the military buddies I got, NX government kind of then they go into contracting. Maybe follow up the next 6 months minimum you're working, and you're using that extra time at the office to research retirement, hobbies, another job, whatever your passions are. You can follow your passions. That's fine. It's when you're an idiot 17, you're like, hey, which means I don't want to work. Well, you've put in your work. Now you've saved up your money. Research retirement is what I'm saying. And then once you feel like, oh yeah, my old buddy Frank from Iraq, he set up this thing. He's got a contract and he needs guys with my expertise on the whatcha-who's it system. I use that in the Army, and boy, I'm the best whatcha-who's it operator there ever was. And then you go consult. Or you like, yeah, I did want to do that, hike the Komodo dragon of Japan. Or you go hike the Appalachian. You're into hiking. You hike the Appalachian Trail, whatever, you go hike it. But that's going to be 6 months minimum, because there's the idea, you get the idea stage and you research the ideas. Then you're like, okay, well, then you got to evaluate. Oh, I can, Frank, are you around? Oh, no, you're not around. I'm not qualified. Oh, okay. The feasibility study. And then that's going to take about 6 months. And then you'll have something, you'll have something to fall into. It won't just be goodbye, everybody. You clean out your desk, you go home, and it's like, what was that movie? It wasn't Shawshank Redemption, which is a horrible movie, by the way, everybody. You're all wrong about that. I'm sorry. That and Baby Driver, just bad. And then the man crawled through the things and the stuff, and he had a Lord in his back and back and do a little bit. And that's Shawshank Redemption. Yeah, so I just remember there was a scene where they get home and there's nothing. And that's what you want to avoid. So set up your escape. You know, like this is speaking of Shawshank Redemption, there's a plan, right? You're setting up your escape plan. It's going to go off without a hitch. It's going to work, and the timing and everything will be wonderful. And then another thing you may want to think about, you got offshore ideas. Have you consider buying stuff overseas? Maybe get a little offshore account or something, huh? Maybe stick around a little bit more. So there you go. Yeah, and you got every right to retire beforehand. Here's another thing I was going to say. Forgot about this. You're also going to be preparing for your wife to retire. So like you're going to go off into this world of retirement, even though you're in the same physical world. It's a different world. So you're like, oh, hey, here's where the coffee is at this time. We got to get on the golf links early because all the other old people try and go there, though we're not that old. Just kind of like you go ahead of your wife. I don't think hold out for your wife. You should retire a little bit before your wife so you can kind of scope it out a little bit because she's going to have to adapt too. So if we send in a vanguard first or an expeditionary force, as it were, you go in, you kind of figure out the ropes. It's going to make her transition just a little bit easier. And you got that. So yeah, at least 6 months, year and a half, if you just want to split it down the middle. 2 years, 2.5 certainly, but I would get out before your wife at least 6 months as well. You make a little bit more scratch, you get a little bit more per month, and then you'll have a much better idea what your plan B will be. But at minimum 6 months, and go ahead and research that. Ice Nose, $2. Captain Septic Tank ties. Gonorrhea. No. Hey, speaking of old military guys, I think Pop's in his 50s. Looks good for his 50s. I won't mess with Pop. All right, that's it. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.